Shut up and sit down.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Third Shift. It's episode 315, and I, of course, am your host, your funky leader, the greatest man who's ever lived. It's me, it's Matt, and man, you said last time that I was the epitome of professionalism last time I opened. Now look at this. I felt horrible all day. I thought I won't even be able to get through the intro without coughing. Look at me. I'm a professional. And with me, as always, it's my professional brother from another mother, the light bearer, the light bringer, the light bearer, bring the Beastmaster, Third Shift. It's Eric. He's here with us to tell us how his week was, and then to tell us that we're both sick and it's disgusting and we're weird.
I am here to tell you these things. I'm here to tell you. I tried to convince Matt today. I said, Matt, you know, both of us kind of having these heat flashes. I think we're at, what's that? What do older women get? Menopausal, whatever it is?
We're getting like menopause.
Yeah, we're getting like menopause symptoms.
Half the listeners just deleted our podcast in disgust. I'm
That's
sorry,
true.
listeners.
Probably.
I'm sorry.
Hey, sorry, everybody. I got to just tell it like it is. We're getting old, and I'm getting these hot flashes, cold flashes. You know, I had a little sniffles this morning. I've been kind of hot chewing. Same with Matt. Not feeling the best. So I said, Matt, you know what we could do? We could do an intro real quick, and then we could just have like jungle noises for like 25 minutes. And everybody'd be waiting, thinking it's going to break some, and they're going to be some big dumb joke or something stupid. And then we don't. And we just outro and just kind of wreck everybody's day for that 25, 30 minutes. I thought this was a fantastic idea.
I mean, I think it's a good idea, too. You don't know this because you're on the other side of the room. But while we're still our last bits at work, I was looking on YouTube. Is there like a 30-minute rainforest noises thing that I can download? There are a million YouTube things, but I can't download them. So I'd have to sit here with my audio recorder thing, and it wouldn't
do
work
all
too
sorts
well.
of BS. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah. I get it. So I did try, but we're going to do a little show for you anyway. Of course, this week, everybody, what did I do? In real life, I went to the John Ball Zoo, and let me tell you, if you have not been to the John Ball Zoo, it is a fantastic little zoo. It's not huge, you know, like your big San Diego one, Detroit Zoo, etc., etc. It's not that, but it's a tight, nice little zoo that has awesome, cool little areas for you to visit and see the animals. Lots of events always going on. We went there during the Harry Potter weekend. So, you know, you had actors and actresses walking around pretending to be Harry Potter characters. You had this really cool ocean exhibit thing going on at the same time where these awesome artists made these huge, like, this, you know, sea creatures, animals, etc., out of trash that was hoisted from the ocean in an attempt to clean and, of course, make art with it. The whole nine. Really cool. Hung out there for like 5-6 hours and still didn't even get to go see everything because, like I said, we were going from one event to the other. Got some food, got some Dippin' Dots. You all know you know how it goes when you go to the zoo. Didn't even get to see the tigers, which they're super cool. Like, they got these tubes that the tigers can go in, and then you can like literally stand like inches away from the tigers if they're in the tubes because the tubes come right out to the path and stuff. Very awesome. Didn't get to see it this time. Very sad about that, but got to see a lot of other stuff besides the John Ball Zoo. I don't know anything else of real life that would be of any kind of interest to any of you listening. So, oh, that's not true. Bullet Train. That's right. I went and saw Bullet Train, and God bless. I'll tell you, Matt told me to watch it weeks and weeks ago, and, you know, as usual, it didn't happen. It didn't work out. But I did fulfill the promise late, and it was amazing, Matt. That movie was flipping awesome. Where the hell were all the people telling everybody that they should see this movie? I saw a couple whispers that it was pretty good. That was about it.
I mean, I think it's one of those, we're not like Rotten Tomatoes guys, but I know it's a Rotten Tomatoes movie where critics are like 40%, audiences are like 70 to 80. At least when I looked at it, that's where it was. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like you said, I mean, if you're on Twitter, all the love I saw was on Twitter when I posted my, tweet out about it. So I don't know. I think they're out there, but since it's just regular Joe's schmoes like you, me, and everybody, it doesn't get amplified.
Yeah, it's not being pumped up because, like you said, the critics didn't give a crap about it, and the influencers didn't really give a crap about it. So, I don't know. If you're just a normal human, like me and Matt are, I'm going to recommend you go see it if you haven't. Because, holy mackerels, I was laughing. I was having a great time with that movie. There's a couple parts that won't spoil anything. But, whoo-wee, I was like, yes, if I was not a fat old slob and I could be an assassin, yeah, this is what I'd be doing right here.
I will back you up on that. If you're just a regular person, you should go see this movie. But if you are like a mean bastard like we are, you're going to love this movie. It's just it's gonna be the best movie you've ever seen.
If you are rotten to the core, you will enjoy this. So we did that. That's the real life stuff I did. And the only 2 games I've been playing lately, there's a bunch on the slate I need to play, but the only 2 I played were Destiny 2. I'm up to light level, way past light level now, so I'm ready for King's Fall. I'm still trying to keep up with the weeklies, the dailies, the weird stuff. I'm starting to fall behind, though, as I typically do, because in the beginning, it was really cool and succinct, and it was kind of like, go do this one mission and get this specific item or whatever it is, and then we'll tell you the next part of the story. Because if you don't know, in Destiny, when a fresh season starts, it does like every week another chunk of the story of that season. And I was keeping up. But now it's like the typical Destiny thing that I hate. I hate so much. Where it's like, hey, go kill 50 champions and 100 of these things and strikes or whatever, you know. I hate that. That's so boring. I don't want to be forced to go into an event and just kill the same event over and over and over and over to kill 100 or whatever champions it is to unlock the next story beat where, you know, I get to go see some cool stuff or learn about whatever the hell is going on. So it's kind of frustrating me because I just want to know the story. I'm a huge story guy, and they're locking it behind this rinse and repeat quests and missions, etc. And I'm like, don't do that to me. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. But I still appreciate the game. Still a great time. Can't wait to raid with everybody. And then, of course, the Cult of the Lamb. I'm on the last boss right now. I have to go through this gate or whatever, open this gate to do a thing and perform a ritual. And then we'll see where we go. Apparently, there's, you know, some choices to be made. I look forward to letting you guys know what choices I make. You can probably guess what it's going to be, I'm sure. But before I do that, there's one other side quest I want to wrap up, which will get me a trophy, and then a secondary side quest while I'm doing that one that'll get me one more trophy. So I might as well, while I'm here, go get those last 2 trophies that only require one more go around in one of the dungeons, and then I'll be able to beat the boss. So for sure, before next week, I'll have that game beat, and I can put it away in the books and move on to something else. And that's been my week. What about you, buddy? What you up to?
Well, the only thing I did in the real world, other than get sick and have miserable times, is on Friday last week, I went and saw Craig Ferguson down in Detroit. And I forgot about this part until I was just thinking about how I was going to intro this. I saw the weirdest damn thing on the freeway that I've ever seen going down to Detroit. I go down there fairly regularly. It's usually just, there's a lot of traffic. And it's annoying. They closed the lane, so everybody's got to stop for a million hours and whatever. Anyway, but I saw for the first time like actual real road raging psychopaths, because it was one of those things where lanes from 4 lanes down to 2, so everybody's going real slow. And then there was this like box truck came from behind me. It like pulled off onto the shoulder and was running up. And this van, like not like a cargo van, just like a regular old person passenger van, skirched out. And this was like a van that was way in front of me. Skirched out in front of it, out of this box truck. And so they were just back and forth constantly. And then the van would try to go back into his lane, and the box truck would try to keep going on the shoulder. And they would and stop each other, and back and forth and back and forth. And I was like, okay, I don't care. Well, whatever. But then some truck that was behind the van also started scooting up to try to keep the van from getting back into the actual lane. And it was just this constant barrage of 3 stupid morons. It was like the shell game with the cups and the ball. Mm-hmm. Just, I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? But then I got down to Detroit, had an awesome parking spot that I reserved in advance, went in, had a very expensive double gin and tonic at this jazz bar that was kind of like in the basement of the theater where he was, and watched Craig Ferguson. And I got to tell you, back in the day when he was the host of the Late Late Show, I would stay up all the time, way too late. College days, I don't have class in the morning, or I do. I don't care. I'm just a college student. Stay up and watch him all the time. So seeing him do stand-up and having like ridiculously good seats, like very front row, looking up, like you can see him sweating, he's spitting. It was great. And the jokes were hilarious. I love Craig Ferguson, so it was a great time. So that was the real life front. A fantastic show. I have not laughed that hard probably since The Cabin, like the really hard laugh riot at The Cabin. It wasn't quite to that level, but big smile on my face, tears running down my cheeks. Great show. Then just like you, there's really only 2 games I've been playing this week. Mini Motorways, which is my morning zen out game. I pop right here where you, Eric, see me. And I have my coffee and I have my eggs. And I just play Mini Motorways and it's great. It's wonderful. And then the other game that's great and wonderful, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise, it's the Saints Row reboot. Just last night, it was trending on Twitter again. Because I think it was the Volition. Here's a bit of news in the weekly wrap-up. The Volition CEO was like, oh man, it's kind of been disappointing, the polarizing response this game has gotten. And then on Twitter, it was everybody. It's because the game's trash, garbage, blah, 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 blah. And you could tell they were only saying the things from one clip they'd seen, like a 1 30-second clip of it. Because the rest of the game is phenomenal. It's great. It is so much fun. If you like the old school Grand Theft Auto games, this is that. And I love those. So every day I get to play it, it's the best day of my life. So that's been my week. It's been, you know what, it's been a great week. I don't care if I'm sick. It was an awesome time.
Yeah, it hasn't been that bad of a week, to be honest with you. And of course, this coming week, if I had the means and I had the time and I had the money, it'd be even a better week because this week the Diofield Chronicles hit. Well, it's Chronicle, not Chronicles. I keep trying to pluralize it because I'm crazy. But it hit. It is out right now. You can get it on all the systems. Anywhere you want to play it, it's there basically. And it's developed by Square Enix. And we talked about this back when we saw the old trailer and the demo first hit. And we were all like, oh, you know what? We should give it a try. And I'm like, Matt, did you ever give that demo a try? He didn't. Eric, did you ever give that demo a try? No, he didn't. And now it's out and it's being reviewed and it's highly positive. I mean, people are talking about how fun the gameplay is, and I knew it was going to be that. From the beginning, we were gushing about how it's the real-time strategy going on, and of course, if you didn't know, there you go. That's the big thing. It's your tactical real-time strategy RPG. Everybody thought it was going to be the successor to Final Fantasy Tactics. It didn't end up being that. It was the Diofield Chronicle, and then everyone was sad, and I think it kind of got just kind of lumped to the side. But let me tell you, I've watched several reviews, and I've kind of been paying attention to it, and I've even talked to Matt, like, it's kind of on my radar of, I should get this, it looks really fun. And the several reviews I looked at right now saying the story, nah, doesn't really matter, it's not a big deal. And I can understand that because it's about 2 big kingdoms warring with one another. You're a mercenary band, you're the Blue Foxes, and of course you're going to be in charge of, the heads of that little squad. And you're just there to, help fend off the Empire, but of course for some cash. So that's your story. That's what's going down. What's really, really cool, though, is, like I said, the real-time strategy portion of this. So instead of it being tile-based, you actively get to move around, and the enemies actively get to move around. And then you, of course, it'll do the auto attacks once you move to them. You're in charge of assigning the skills and what the hell's going on. And the best part is if you're like, oh, it's going to be too stressful. Don't worry about it, because when you go to the skill menu to issue out a command, it freezes everything. So then you just, go to the skill sets, boom, everything pauses, and then you can assign, what would be the best place for this fireball I'm about to shoot off? I see 2 right here, 1 right here. Is it going to do any kind of tertiary damage, etc.? You get to have those thoughts in your head without panicking because, the enemy might just keep hacking and slashing away at the 2 tanks you got up front or whatever the case is. And that wasn't even it, though. That wasn't it. I thought that was the extent of it all, but it went further. And I didn't know this until I was watching one of the reviews earlier today. Was that at any time you can also, while you're moving your troops, where you want them across, whatever the map is, you can back out and take a peek at what's coming. And it goes to this really cool map, 3D, like cool, weird 3D map thing going. I can't explain it, but it looks really freaking sweet. And then it shows where you were, it shows where you're going, it shows where there's enemy layouts and enemy peeps at. So you can already start to think about where you want your characters to line up as you're moving around, like say you're on an escort mission or something. As it's coming around, you're like, okay, there's going to be some bandits up here, 3 in the trees, 2 over here. Do I want to split my troops up 1 and 1, 2 and 2, or just go full hog right now, have them rush ahead to try to take out this littler band before we get to this bigger one right here that's going to, of course, try to ambush the caravan or whatever. Man, it was looking freaking sweet, man. And of course, you got your typical, your typical tank, your ranged, your mage, cast, your healer, that whole setup. It's all there. Very traditional in that sense. Characters, the artwork looks really good. The characters look and feel really cool. I can't talk about the story and if they actually, get you to care about them. From what I hear, like I said, stories, man, take it or leave it. It's all about gameplay in this particular game. But I don't trust folks anymore when it comes to if a story is good or not, because I've learned, and I've complained about it a million times, that a lot of the individuals out there scoring these games and doing these reviews, they're not in it for story. They never have been, never were. So for them, story's always just a throwaway unless it's some super crazy engaging thing that makes them cry or whatever. They'll usually just say, "Oh, the story's just blah. Take it or leave it. Who cares?" So I wouldn't put too much into that. I just put the pile into the fact that the gameplay's solid, what you're doing is solid, the real-time strategy aspect of it looks really cool. I'm just saying, give it a shot. If you're looking at that, it's a free demo that both of us are too stupid to have gone and at least tried out. I'm going to remedy that. I'm at least going to remedy that, and we'll see where it goes from there, because as everybody knows, we've complained about, the fall lineup and winter lineup is freaking crazy already, and I've got a backlog to holy hell, but I feel like it's just sad to let this one slip by. But I recommend you don't let it slip by. If you got the time and money, go check out the Diofield Chronicle.
And speaking of games that you shouldn't let slip by, there's so much more to say about this game series, because I was looking up, one review of this game just to see what people had to say about it. And they said, can you even imagine, could you even realize that 1 year ago, they had just announced, not even launched, the first game in the series, and now what is launching is the third game in the series. I'm talking about Voice of Cards, The Beasts of Burden, which dropped on the 19th, developed and published by Square Enix for PC, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch. And I know what you're thinking out there. You're thinking there's no way that's possible. This is just a port of one of the other two. No, it's a brand new entry in the series.
That's what I thought.
It's so weird to think about. This is that completely unique RPG where you basically have a game master telling you the story, and everything is laid out on the screen as if you're sitting at a table and there's cards flipping over, and you move your token and the card flips over. And the characters are all on a card. When the combat starts, they bring up a combat tray that sits down over top of the map, and then you play your cards and everything on that. It's so weird for another one to be coming out, but I love it because it's such a unique system. And obviously they have all the basics there. This is what people say, reusing their engine. But I love it because there's 3 completely different types of games and stories of games. Like the first one was all about hunting down a dragon. The second was about, a girl who'd lost her memory. This one, it's about a girl who is like a monster hunter. And when she's out hunting monsters come in and just destroy the town, kill everybody. She comes back, she's devastated, she wants to get revenge on the monsters. She meets up with a wandering adventurer. So it's kind of a darker tone because it's way more somber. She's lost everything, she's thirsty for revenge. But then the other thing about it is that it is still that RPG, that tabletop style, but this one has monster collecting aspects to it, because the main character has a skill where after you defeat a monster, she can make them into a card, which you can then attach to one of the characters to give them a special skill, like elemental damage or a debuff or something like that. And the more monsters you encounter, the better quality monsters you get, which alters the skills that are attached to those cards that you put onto the different characters. I mean, people know, if you listen to the podcast, I'm kind of a completionist guy. This was scratching all the itches. I was like, man, if I could find all of the toads from 1 star to 5 star and have all of them, and then I can go to the next area and I can get the tree people and get from 1 star to 5 star with all the tree peoples and try all the things and do all the stuff. It sounds fantastic. The presentation is still pretty much the same. It's really nice graphics, but it is just you're flipping cards and moving a token on a table. And then, like I said, the combat tray kind of comes out. Not many graphical upgrades here. The music is still phenomenal. I watched a reveal trailer on it, and it's all the Nier type of music. It sounds phenomenal. If you like the gameplay of the other ones, this is that classic JRPG gameplay. The beautiful presentation. You got a new narrator this time, or game master. It's a lady this time, and I've heard she's a little bit less serious than the first narrator, but a little bit more serious than the second, so she hits a nice mid-ground. If you've been loving the other 2 games, obviously you owe it to yourself to get this one. If you should have played those other 2 games like you, Eric, and like me, Matt, then you need to put this one also onto the backlog of stuff you need to get around to, because some people have said this is the best one yet. And so I'm excited and terrified to think of how many more iterations and how many different stories and different kind of gameplay styles we can get in this Voice of Cards system, because obviously they can, and I don't mean this in a bad way, kind of churn these out. in real short time frames and get them going and get them rocking, get them shooting into your hot little hands. So if you like RPG mechanics, if you love that physical card gameplay style, check out Voice of Cards, The Beasts of Burden. I'm going to be checking it out eventually, sometime, probably once like 7 more came out, because I'm terrible. But that's it.
It's just wild to me, Matt, because I haven't heard you even talking about playing like through the second one.
Yeah.
And then this one hit, and I'm like, this can't be true. Mm-hmm. It just can't be true. It has to be like you were talking about earlier. It has to be something, or just a redo and a remastering. But it wasn't. It was a whole new one. And I was like, man, I should talk about it. And I said, no, surely Matt's gonna see this and talk about this. There's no way.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I don't know. It looks great, and of course, it's got the music that's freaking amazing, and you can't go wrong with it. So it's always tempting, but for sure, I'll at least go to Spotify and see if I can get like the OST or something for the soundtrack and check it out. With that, speaking of OSTs, speaking of awesome stuff, Matt, you know what happened this week, right?
I'm not sure what happened. What happened?
Yeah, NVIDIA graphics cards are going to come out, Matt. New ones. Now, you might ask, how is that even possible? Because it was, what, just last year that the 3060, 3070, 3080, 3090s all hit?
I feel like it wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah, was it even a year? I'm so confused. But they, sure enough,
they're on the Voice of Cards system. Just put one more transistor on the side, and then it's a completely different one. Go.
Well, and that's what I was negatively in my head. That's what I was starting to think. Okay, they're just trying to get money here. They announced the 4080, 4090 series coming out in October, and not only that, but it's supposed to be 2 to 4 times more powerful than each of its respective brothers sisters. 3080, 4080, 4090. How? It hasn't even been a year, and they're already putting out a card that's supposed to be able to surpass this last tier by 2 to 4 times its power. It's beyond my comprehension, because already these cards are rocking and rolling. They're pushing out all sorts of really cool graphics, ray tracing, all that good stuff. And now they're saying, no, we're having something 10 times better. And then they're running at like $1,500 and like $1,200, something like that, respectively, in that range. Obviously, there's different grades with different, 16, 32, gigabytes, blah, 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 this kind of stuff. I won't go into nitty gritties because I'm not a computer, Yahoo either, but I just wanted to get it out there for everybody. If you were like thinking, hey, I should buy a really cool graphics card, you might as well wait now. And you might as well go ahead and get yourself a 4090, 4080, except you won't be able to, because I'm pretty sure as soon as they're out, it's going to be just like last year, where the crypto yahoos, everybody else is chasing after them. And yes, I know the crypto thing apparently like blew up, and it's not a big issue right now because it's all collapsed in on itself. But I just want to let you know that these new cards are coming out, and it freaking annoys me because I just, 7 months ago got a hold of the 30 series. Jeez.
Don't even worry about it, Eric. Even if you did get your hands on the new one, you would destroy your computer inside of like 4 days. And you'd enjoy it for 4 days, and then you'd be like, all right, sweet. And then you come in, and they'll be like, how's that new graphics card? And you go, well, I had to take it into Geek Squad, and they said it was literally on fire from the inside, so I don't know, everything's broken. And then there was an earthquake, and my house fell into a pit, and all my computer is gone. I know how this works, Eric.
Look,
we all know how this works, right, listeners? Yes, everybody knows.
They know. Over the years, they know. It's not me. It's the house. It's just, there's something following me, and it does things, Matt, and it does things. I don't do nothing. I just come down and push the button, and I just play games. Mm-hmm. Just like I do on my PS5 or my PS4 previously. I would say they didn't blow up, but they did.
They did blow up, though, so you should stop playing games, Eric. You just start a book podcast. Get off of this one. I'll still play video games.
Oh, and then, of course, I was going to have a little chat about Wolong Fallen Dynasty demo, because that's out, and I was going to completely skip by this. Everyone, once again, talking about how amazing it is, and how it's super fast-paced. It's still a Souls-like game, but it's much more fast-paced than your typical. But it does rely heavily on parrying and blocking and whatnot and all that good stuff, and evading. So that kind of threw me off. But I was like, well, I wonder if Matt's given it a try yet. Because I was going to yesterday, but then I just like, I'm just tired. I don't really want to do it. And so I was going to take it off, but I was going to ask Matt, you take it you didn't, right, Matt?
I did not, but I saw it on the show notes, and I went, let me look this up. And I went, hey, there's a demo, and it's like a Souls-like, and it's a little fast, and doodly-doodly, and it looks really cool. And I went, that sounds really cool. And then I played some more Saints Row, because that is actively really cool.
Cult of the Lamb.
Uh-huh.
So we both screwed up, but if you're interested, just demos everywhere. Demos. I'm loving it. Me and Matt talked about this previously. We need to get in a world where demos are the regular so we can check these games out. And they're starting to do it. So get out there and support that. Because if they see high numbers checking out demos and then they see a return in sales, they're going to keep putting out more demos. But if they see a low count for people playing and trying demos, and then, of course, a low to moderate sales, guess what? Demos are going right back in the bin because it's not producing numbers and sales.
Pretty bold of you, Eric, to lecture the listeners on how they should play more demos.
And when I'm not doing
immediately
anything.
after saying you played no demos at all.
Yeah,
and I'm in the same boat, so I'm not. But I didn't lecture the listeners. I do
lecture them because if they're smarter than we are, okay, they're smarter, so they're gonna do the right thing. Unlike us, bozo the clowns, they're gonna go and they're gonna. Well, some of them, Matt, trust me, I know what you're thinking. Some of them are smarter, and they'll go do it, and I will too. I'm not kidding. I'm gonna do both of these demos. However, that was the last part of this. Wolong's demo is only out to the 26th, so you've only got a few more days to check that one out. I don't know. Diofield's probably going to stay up forever because the Switch ones typically do.
And so here, no, I do have one up on you because the Diofield Chronicle, let me minimize you for just a second to verify this. It's literally the demo is sitting on my desktop right now. So I downloaded it. So I gave numbers. So I am better than you again today. I am the best. That's okay.
Because you know what? After I do this and get all cuddled and cozied up, to, fight this whatever bug it is, I'm going to get both of them. So there you go. Both of them are going to get installed. I'm going to immediately got the Switch right there. I'm going to go click, 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 and I'm going to go click, click, click on the PS5. Wolong's going to be up. So I will do it. I suggest everybody else do it too. These are some really cool games that are coming out, and I don't feel like they'll get the big buzz like they should get. So,
but speaking of games that are coming out and getting the big buzz, there's a bunch of stuff from Tokyo Game Show that I do want to talk about, but I don't know too much in depth about it. I mean, for the first one that I did want to mention is I know they showed off more at the Tokyo Game Show, but this was revealed, I think, at the State of Play. It's Tekken 8. And I will say, I am a fighting game fan. I love fighting games, but Tekken is a series I've never gotten into, like ever. I know it was big on the PlayStation 1. Everybody loved it. I got Tekken 7 on the Xbox 360 with the fight stick. I think I got it on a discount, like $20 a year after release at Best Buy, and I played it, but I didn't get it. It didn't hook me. But seeing Kazuya Mishima and Jin Kazama going at it in that beautiful HD fight from the State of Play trailer, it made me go, I need to get into it. I love fighting games, all kinds of different varieties. Maybe this is the time for me to get in to Tekken 8.
Matt, I gotta tell you, man, never touched Tekken. Never touched Tekken in my life, not once. Even when I was into fighting games, it was always Soul Calibur or Street Fighter. That's basically the gist of my fighting game, besides Smash Bros., but I don't really consider that the same caliber of fighting game as these.
The same like Soul Calibur? Caliber? Sorry. I'm not sorry. No, I'm not sorry.
Be sorry. Never be sorry. Never be sorry. But yeah, it looks gorgeous. I'll say that. It does look gorgeous. But I've never just liked Tekken's system for initiating combos and doing stuff like that. And that's to say I have played it in the past with friends at their house, but I suck at it. I've always sucked at it, so always throwing it right out the window. But I'm super glad that it's coming around and that the fighting scene seems to be just ramping up right now.
Yeah.
Because you've also got that League of Legends fighter coming too, I think, somewhere around the corner. So you got Street Fighter, you got a League of Legends fighter coming.
That's news to me. Holy smokes.
I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up, but I do know it is coming. They are making a fighter. And then, of course, Tekken now. I mean, you're just missing your Mortal Kombat, and you're going to be swimming in all the fighters. It's going to be wild.
But, I mean, even that one had its big resurgence last gen with 9, 10, and 11. But you mentioned it. Street Fighter. Street Fighter's coming back with Street Fighter 6. We saw reveals of it. We've seen character trailers and teasers, and it made me just fall in love with the characters and the style. But we got a lot more gameplay from Tokyo Game Show. I was watching an hour of Ken gameplay. Just some person playing as Ken against all these other characters. And my God, it put me right back I mean, I've mentioned this before, but it put me back in that Street Fighter 3 feel and mindset, that hip hop style, that like streets graffiti, like I don't even know what they call the attacks because I was just wide eyed staring at Ken kicking Jury and stuff. The attacks that they hit and then it just splashes color everywhere. It's all over the ground. It's like, it just looks incredible. And the animations look amazing. And the best part, which we called on the previous show when we talked about it, is they showed off more of the World Tour mode, which is exactly like we said it was going to be, where you make your own custom character and you go through the world, like physically running from dojo to dojo, meeting up with Street Fighter characters, learning their techniques. So you could have a big beefy wrestler dude, but you learn Chun-Li's spinning bird kick, and now you're... And they even showed it like using it in traversal around the world. Like they showed somebody doing a spinning bird kick off the edge of a roof and like flying through the air like that. I couldn't believe it. It looked incredible. Obviously, we had the teaser, and we're hoping that's what it would be. To know that that's what it actually is. You get to spend time in the Street Fighter world, learn from these legendary characters as your masters, your senseis. I will never play anything else. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not even going to go into the multiplayer hub where your custom character sits down in an arcade machine and battles people. I'm never going to do that. I'm just going to run around in the world and just be like, oh, hey, Chun-Li, how's it going? Oh, my God, Blanca. Hey, what's up, dude? Oh, Guile. Oh, how can I have hair like you? Oh, it looks incredible.
See, I didn't see that, but I did see, a couple of the more character reveals and the graphics, the way this game looks and feels, just the flavor of this game, how the characters are acting, and of course the storyline now is all like way post out, and just like, like Guile was a complete shocker to me to see him all just like chilled out, normal looking, not like, in his usual camis. I'm sure they'll have that as an optional, get up, but just all these different character reveals and everything. This game has me wanting to touch fighting games again. And the only other time that's happened was actually recently when it was the Guilty Gear game, right? Didn't that just get a big thing? And then I went, gosh, bless, these are the same folks who did that Persona fighting game. This looks gorgeous, but, obviously that would look gorgeous, getting to be Persona characters fighting each other. And that tempted me. And I said, no, man, we will not go back down this dark path of fighting games where I'm angry all the time and throwing my controller. But this is pushing it really hard, man.
I don't even care. I'll buy it for you for Christmas. We'll play each other on Friday nights, and we'll drink beers, and we'll just have battles. Because you won't get mad at me, because I'm not going to be cheap and stupid and read your AI moves. You'll get one over on me. I'll get one over on you. It'll be fantastic. But, I just thought of it now, because I'm picturing the gameplay in my head. Obviously, the last few Street Fighters have been kind of like a 3D style. Not like moving side to side, but 3D models. The way, like, the clothing and the hair animates in Street Fighter 6, it's like the jump from the Street Fighter Alpha games to Street Fighter 3. When that was pure 2D, this is like the 3D version of that. Because Street Fighter 3 was when like the clothes could actually bounce and it looked realistic, hand-drawn sprites and everything. This looks like that kind of a jump for the 3D ones. It looks crazy.
It does. It looks fantastic. They just pulled out all the stops. This game is looking gorgeous, feeling gorgeous. I cannot wait to try it. I hope there's some kind of open demo or open beta, or it's right around the corner, but something so I can get in there and at least get a taste of it, and then kind of make that decision whether or not to pull the trigger on it. Because, like I said, part of me still doesn't want to mess with it, but this looks like a perfect time to do some fighting games again. So, and I'll tell you, man, before you jump, are you still on Street Fighter? Or?
No. I was going to the holy grail of gaming.
Okay, you're going there. Hang on. Because, of course, I saw something I'd totally forgotten about, Matt. They went ahead and said this little whole shtick about how the Ethan Winters line is going to be closing up with this next DLC. And I went, oh, my God, I totally forgot. Next month, Matt, we get the DLC Shadows of Rose or whatever it is for Resident Evil Village. And we get to play another however many hours it is with Ethan Winters' daughter. And then, of course, apparently from Tokyo Game Show, close the whole story on that family and that whole, line of game. So this is it. We get to play it, we get to enjoy it, and it's next month, which I completely forgot. So it's all lined up with Overwatch 2, God knows what else. Apparently freaking Street Fighter and everything. Oh,
It makes me sad, though, because I still never have beaten Village, but it does make me excited because, obviously the winter storyline started with 7, went here into 8, and if they're closing that chapter, I mean, everybody loved 7 and 8. It's been kind of like reinvented the whole Resident Evil franchise. So if they're closing the book on that, what's Resident Evil 9 going to look like? What's that going to be about? It makes, I'm not even a big Resident Evil fan, you know that, but it makes my brain just like percolate with all these cool ideas. What kind of stuff could you do?
It's going to probably do what they typically do, and it's going to jump from like Chris, and then it's going to go back to Jill or Leon or Claire, and then a side story based off whatever it is they're doing. I mean, obviously it still leaves a gaping wound of whatever the hell could be happening, but
obviously you'll go back to the characters, but the latest one was such a big departure from anything else. Vampires and werewolves and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, all sorts of craziness.
What's the next thing going to be?
You're right. Like, what will be the motif? What's going to be the whole... I want them to go... I hope they go... I want to see a ghost one. Have they done a ghost one that I know of? 7 was about the crazy
it was the weird,
chainsaw wielding family.
Yeah.
8 was like the werewolf, vampires, etc. The your typicals. And then before 4 was about cults and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea what 5 and 6 were about, to tell you the honest to gosh truth.
It was kind of the continuation of the 4 story.
What 4?
Los Plagas going. 5 was in Africa. 6 was just banana world craziness. I think it was more about the parasites, but it was... I watched somebody play through it, and it just kind of went whoosh over my head.
So maybe they can pull in a ghost one, a really, like, the whole spooky vibe one. Go real, like, dark, kind of like the second dungeon in Resident Evil Village. Go that route, but more ghost instead of weird, things and objects, etc.
I was thinking about it because obviously they did zombies. Now they did werewolves and like European spooks. What about like a Japanese type of? Because they got all kinds of crazy folklores. They got the crazy long-haired ghosts, the pale kid ghosts, all that kind of stuff. You could do all kinds of stuff and just set it in Tokyo. Tokyo's overrun.
Is Ada Wong still alive?
I don't know.
Or did she die? I don't know the story.
I don't think anybody who dies in Resident Evil is ever dead.
Dead, because have Ada Wong go home or whatever, and then base the whole thing off whatever operation's going on. Back there, and boom, there you go. You can set something up like that. Well, unless she's an American, but,
I mean,
whatever.
she didn't have, like, a Chinese accent.
No, she sure did. But that was back in the day when games didn't care. They didn't try to do anything right. You could retcon it and do all sorts of stuff with that. But who knows? She might be dead and gone. I don't remember.
But speaking of doing things right, there's one company that's done absolutely nothing right for, like, 5 years.
For a long time.
And that's Konami. And before the Tokyo Game Show, there was a hint, there was a tease, there was just a little drip of news on your tongue, a rumor that Konami would be revisiting a fan favorite franchise and showing something off at the Tokyo Game Show. And I was not prepared. Like, I saw a tweet. I mean, it was spoiled. I wasn't watching a live stream or anything. They went, boom, check it out. Here's the trailer for Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster. And I will not lie to you. I am not ashamed. When I saw the trailer, a tear rolled down my cheek. Because these are 2 of my favorite games ever. Full of all my favorite characters. Even the stupid side characters. Because these are games where you recruit 108 stars of destiny. Even the side characters, I love them. I feel them in my heart. When I do a 5K and I write, I've been training, I'm faster than ever, faster than the wind. That's from Suikoden 2. That's from Stallion. When you go to the detective and learn secrets about Stallion. So seeing all my favorite characters, all my old friends from the PS1 era, all shined up. It looked so beautiful. And I mean, both of those intros, they showed just the intros back to back and a little bit of gameplay between them. Whenever I would play those games back on the PS1, I would let that intro demo play every time, and it would always get me so hyped. So to see it again, even better looking, beautiful music, all my favorite characters, I wept. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I ain't too proud, like we always say on the show. It was incredible. I can't wait for this. As hyped as I was for Front Mission 3 Remaster Remake last week, that's what I am for these. The HD remasters are 2 of the best games ever made. Amazing.
And that's how I felt. I mean, we came just off the Front Mission announcement. Going, oh, this is freaking great. We get to play some just bad mamma jamma games and have a good time. And then this hit, and I went, there's no way. There's no way. What's next, Matt? What's next? The next Breath of Fire? I mean, oh my God.
I'll let you have it because you didn't give me crap for weeping at the trailer. So
I deserve something. These games are awesome. I can't wait to play them too. I'm stoked beyond belief to get a chance to get in there and do some Suikoden 1 and 2 with the HD boost, looking great. I don't know. I don't know how there's time, but I do know I'm going to be playing them, and I can't wait to play them.
I will absolutely be playing these. I don't care what else is out. I don't care. I'm just going to take months off of work when this comes out. But I will say the thing that makes me even more excited is the only bad thing about these games, the originals, especially Suikoden 2, was it had a really rushed and really rough translation and presentation. There were certain characters where their dialogue was just garbled nonsense. It was supposed to be some kind of secret that would give you a hint to something, and it was just garbage characters. So to hopefully, I have to assume, to have all that cleaned up, all the broken quests or possibly broken quests in Suikoden 2, to have the actual pristine version of that, it's going to be incredible. I can't wait. I don't even know when it's coming out because I was so enraptured by the trailer. I don't even know when it's happening.
Honestly, I don't either. I don't know when that's hitting either. I could look it up, maybe. Now, I know we're going to end the show, but I will say the last little bitty was the Exo Primal story trailer hit too, man. I don't know if you checked that out. It was just a goofy game with the mechs and then the dinosaurs. I actually had a closed alpha to it and everything, and they showcased this trailer, and I watched it, and it was cool, and it's really sweet how they're actually incorporating a story into it, because before it was you just going to these arenas and fighting these dinosaurs. I had no idea why or what's going on. So that's neat. However, even with the story trailer, I still have no idea what the hell's going on. So just something to keep a little eye on, in case you're interested. But that's about it.
That was something I did want to keep an eye on because I heard there was a big trailer about it, and I went, that's that game that we didn't see anything about and didn't know anything about, but it was still kind of on both of our radars because we were interested in it. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to check that out. Just like I went back and checked out the Steam page for the Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remasters. It says coming 2023. That's not enough. That's not enough detail. I have to know exactly when so I can plan my life around these two games.
Plan your life around it. You got to hold all that vacation time. So that way you can take that month off whenever it's announced.
I'm going to cancel my cruise. I don't even care. Could you imagine? I just blew my own mind. Could you imagine if it came out the day of the cruise and I take my Steam Deck and I'm playing on the deck of a ship with my feet up on the railing and a gin and tonic in my hand and I'm playing Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster on a boat! On a boat. That would be the greatest day of my life.
That would be amazing.
But what about you out there in podcast listener land? What's the greatest day of your life? Hey, I can't believe we made it 45 minutes and neither one of us fell apart. So congratulate us on that because we're both sick as dogs.
My side hurts really bad right now. I've been massaging it for 5-10 minutes now.
I'm getting into the side here too because I'm doing the lean and the weird because my stomach's all messed up. But hey, podcast listeners, you can tell us those congratulations via the email, thirdshiftme@gmail.com, on the Twitter machine @thirdshiftme, and find us on Facebook, go to Third Shift.
Indeed, you can find us over there. You can also find us on Patreon. Like what we're doing, want to help us out a little bit, $3, $5, $100, or that coveted $1 million where we're going to change our lives and open up that beautiful, wonderful little food line. You can do it. You give it to us. I keep trying to win the lotto, but it's not working so far, but you could make it work for us. We're going to do all sorts of cool stuff with that cash, what do we used to always say? Babies in jars. We were gonna do cameras and do all sorts of weird shows and dances. We had someone dressed up in the big lion costume. We had didn't we have fish at one point?
We had big koi fish, but I don't think we're gonna have those anymore.
Yeah, that's probably not cool, but there's a lot of stuff that was going to happen. I don't remember. You can do any of those things, and we would super appreciate it. But if you can't support us with the money, you can support us with the 5-star ratings on the iTunes, on the Spotify. You can go over to Twitch, Prime sub up over there, watch Matt play some games. In fact, he's been rocking out that Final Fantasy. Get on board, get in there and check it out. Show some love, show some support. And if you can't do any of those things, maybe a mailbag question, maybe a suggestion for a topic for the show, something you want to hear, something you want discussed, any of those things, hey, we super appreciate it.
And we also appreciate you listening to the very next episode, which will be dropping a day early. Surprise. Sorry, Eric. I have something going on Thursday, so it'll be dropping on the 28th of September on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Podbean, on Spotify, and on YouTube. And as I always say, hey, if you like what we're doing, you'd like to help us out, you'd like to help us feel better because we're sick as dogs and we're going to be sweating all the illness out, give us a like, a rating, review, a comment, a subscription, any kind of good thing on any one of those good services, because it does help us out, and we really do appreciate it.
Indeed we do. We appreciate all of you, and you know what? Get on over there. Throw us a 5-star review. I bet if I saw that, it would instantly get that poison right out of my system. All right, everybody? So think about me. Think about Matt. Throw us a 5-star review to get us past this plague, whatever the hell it is, so we can be in tip-top shape, rocking and rolling once again for you all the next week, apparently early.
But until that time, there's nothing else to say but...
Shut up and sit down.